Hey everybody, welcome in. Ivan here. Hope you're having a great day. I am joining you here live on Facebook. We're not going to be on Zoom for this presentation. It will only be broadcast on my facebook.com/Ivan Zoot. So welcome in. Glad to have you here. The program for 11 o'clock for today is making the most of a first-time client opportunity. So we're going to bring in Facebook's up and running. We know we have a little bit of a lag or a little bit of a delay on Facebook in terms of comments and interaction, but we're used to that. We know how that works, so we'll play along with that. And I'm excited to have you joining us here, pulling up comments so that if you're here and chatting and talking, I'm here to hear you. I'm here to have that conversation with you. So we always get started out, of course, by mentioning our good friends over at Barbicide. Just got off the telephone with the president of Blue Coat Brands, the folks that own Barbicide, and the good news that I have is they are producing Barbicide every single day, and they are shipping every single day from their warehouses and distribution centers so that that product is available for you and your customers to be able to use to take good care of everybody within your business. There is a recipe out there, and it's really not complicated. It is Barbicide, standard 32:2 dilution for making your own Barbicide wipes. Barbicide wipes right now are going to be a little tough to come by in terms of finding them out in the marketplace because so much of the production capacity for wipes is being consumed by the healthcare industry. Therefore, it's harder for us in professional beauty and barber to get access to those. But you can make your own Barbicide wipes using regular 32:2 diluted Barbicide concentrate. Get a plastic food storage container, put it in there, fold up some towels, stack them up in there, and you've got yourself a wipe that kills everything as necessary in a big and productive way. So please know that that's an option for you out there. You can jump on that and take good care of yourself, take good care of your customers. We're going to forego $100,000 Haircutter. You know we start every class with a reading from the $100,000 Haircutter book. One idea a day, every single day for 365 days. Normally we do a reading. We read the entry of the day for the day. We already read it this morning. It was, we're at May 21st. But we'll do a reading. We always do. And I'll let someone here in Facebook land suggest a date. So if you'd like to have a day picked in here, pick a day. Let me know. Any day. 365 days of the year. Bonus extra week, 2 bonus chapters of monthly focus topics to help you build and grow your business. This is your guide, so I'm open to contributions coming. Matt Loomis gives us April 7. Let's go there. Let's go to April 7. Thank you, Matt, for offering up a date suggestion. April 7. April 7, day 97, 268 days remaining in the year. Take a social media class. And I've said this for a long time. It's hard to be an expert in social media. It's hard to jump on a moving train. Social media is evolving literally as we use it on an ongoing basis. It's constantly changing. So it is very difficult to claim that you're an expert. It's hard to know everything about it. And the platforms change. One day everybody's on Facebook. The next day everybody wants to tweet. All of a sudden, you know, it's Instagram, and then it's Snapchat, and now it's TikTok, and who knows? But the answer is there are best practices. Hard to be an expert, but there are best practices in social media. So the idea of taking a class maybe once a year, taking a half-day continuing education class in social media, just to stay up on what is the latest in social media, the latest best practices, the latest knowledge and understanding of how to best use these platforms for the purposes for which you are intending to do that. So April 7, which is day 97, references that. The idea of taking a social media class to really keep your knowledge up to date. Because, man, it's a fast-moving train, and it's changing quickly. Get a copy, paper, digital, or audio, Amazon or ivanzoot.com. And don't forget, we've got the 4-pack now. We've got 100,000 with 100 by 100, 100 new haircut customers in 100 days, and Big and Bigger. Big and Bigger, the marketing books. Weeks 1 through 52, 53 through 104. 2 solid years of Build Your Business Marketing are available in those too. You can buy them all as a 4-book set now on my website at a special price. So please know those books and resources are out there because I want to help you to be a $100,000 hair cutter. To that end, one of the things I want to talk about before we get into the topic of the day for today, which is how to make the most of a first-time client. We'll talk about why that's the topic. But I want to share, if you're not aware, I do a topic of the week every week. It's a subject that I address throughout my online communities. I talk about the topic of the week in an audio blog that goes live on Friday. I share the topic of the week in a video that goes live on Thursday. We discuss the topic of the week in my meeting every Wednesday, and I address the topic of the week in a text post every Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 times, depending on where you like to learn and listen, and depending on how you like your information. Do you want text? Do you want audio? Do you want video? Or do you want a Q&A session? I do all 4 of those on the weekly subject. This class is this week's subject. This week's subject is how to make the most of a first-time client. And I want to share with you where you find all this. It's patreon.com/IvanZoot. I will put it in the comments on the video on the Facebook right now. It's up there. I want to invite you to go there. That's a link. This is my online community. You join my community. I have the nugget level. Nuggets are where you get a little bit, a little taste of what my community is all about. And then the tribe level, when you join the tribe. This is the $100,000 hair cutter community. This is people like you in our business who want to truly be 6 figures, who want to truly be $100,000 hair cutters. My mission is to support that. My job is to help people make that happen. And if that's something that is appealing to you, if that's something that is interesting to you, if that's a goal of yours, go to that community online, sign up for that community online, and get involved. Consume the content that's there, reach out to me through the connectivity that's there, take advantage of the opportunity that that represents to get busy building your business. Now, on the subject of building business, we have a unique situation on our hands. You know, I have said through the coronavirus situation that we're all currently experiencing, we're probably going to lose 20% of the salons in America. Just not going to open up again. It's not going to happen. We're probably going to lose 20% of the professional hair cutters in America, barbers and cosmetologists who are going to move on, who are going to move out, who are going to move away from our business entirely. And a percentage of them may stay in the business, but they're not going back to where they used to work for whatever reason, whether that business closed or they're not comfortable with that environment anymore, or it's just time to move on and do their new thing. The business is going to experience these changes. And one of the things this means is many of us are going to have in the next weeks and months lots and lots of new first-time client opportunities. People coming to us who've never come to us before. People in our chair who we've never served before. This is a beautiful thing. This is a golden opportunity. But what I want to talk about in today's program is polishing that gold. What I want to talk about in today's program is leveraging the first-time opportunities, making the most of these first-time opportunities to see to it that a first-time client is not a one-time client. A first-time client turns into a repeat client. A first-time client becomes a long-term client. This is what we are looking for out of every one of these opportunities. So when we come to the game, when that first-time client shows up, we got to nail it. We got to get it right from the start. So I want to take you through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What I believe are the 6 things you need to focus on, especially right now, and specifically with our first-time client opportunities. Number 1, first-time client, you got to nail the consultation. I've got a class coming up next week. The class is going to be on Monday. It's going to be a class at 10 o'clock on Monday next week in haircut consultation skills. We are specifically going to focus on our consultation skills because we need to be really, really good at consultation. You know, when I worked for chain salons, we would track what we called redos. A redo, if you've never heard the term, is anytime a client comes back for a fix. Any kind of problem. My bangs were too long, my bangs were too short, my sideburns are not even, the back and sides wasn't short enough, the back and sides was too short, whatever. Anytime a customer ever comes back for a fix, we would track this data. We would write this information down. We would know why. We would ask questions, and we would log it in a book. Back in the day, it was a 3-ring binder with sheets in it. It had the name, the date, the time, who the service provider was, and we would track this data. And what I can tell you from our data was that over 90% of the time, when a client came back for a fix, when a client was unhappy with some aspect of a haircut, more than 90% of the time, the problem could be traced back to the consultation. It's not that the haircut was bad or wrong or different. It's just that for some reason, for whatever reason, it came back to the consultation. Somebody wasn't listening. Somebody wasn't sure. Somebody didn't clarify. Somebody didn't understand. It's not that we weren't technically getting it right. It's that we weren't socially getting it right with the consultation. So your consultation's got to be rock solid. You've got to ask good questions. You've got to listen to the answers. You've got to ask follow-up questions when you get answers. You've got to rephrase, paraphrase, quote, and clarify when you get answers. You've got to ask open-ended questions, thought-provoking questions. You want to avoid what we call say-no questions. A say-no question is any question that can be answered no. Want to buy some shampoo? No. That's a say-no question. You're dead in the water. Tell me about your shampoo habits. How often you shampoo. How many times do you shampoo, lather, rinse, repeat? These are open-ended, thought-provoking questions, not examples of consultation questions. We'll get into that next week at the consultation class. But the idea is, the notion is asking good questions, listening to the answers, and acting on the good questions for which you get good answers. So number 1 is the consultation. It starts there. You want to nail the consultation. Do not miss the consultation class next week on Monday at 10. We'll take you through all of that. Number 2 on the list for successful first-time client interaction is use, suggest, recommend and sell professional take-home hair care product. So critical. So important. Statistically, our industry knows that clients who are happy with their hair come back. Clients who are happy with their hair send their friends. Those are good things to know. Clients who purchase and use product from their haircut professional are happy with their hair and send more friends. It comes down to being happy. If you're happy, you're going to come back. If you're happy, you're going to send your friends. Product is the key to happiness. We all the time talk about that client who says to that stylist, and that stylist then brags about it. The client says to the stylist, "Oh my God, it would be wonderful if you could come home with me and do my hair at home tomorrow." You've heard that? You've heard people say that? You've heard people talk about that? That's a huge insult. That's not a compliment. That's not a positive comment. A client that says, "Oh my God, it would be great if you could come home with me and do my hair tomorrow," is basically telling you they're lost. They're out of luck. They're in trouble. Because without you, they can't do their hair. They're crying out for help. They're begging and pleading for you to talk about product, to show them what product you used, and to ask them to take that product home, to sell them that product, to give them the opportunity to buy that product. Take-home hair care product is the key to client happiness, and happy clients is the key to retention. So if you want a first-time client to be a one-time client, stay away from product. But if you want a client to be a long-term client, product is going to be one of the keys. Number 1 on the list, quality consultation. Number 2 on the list, suggesting and using and selling take-home hair care product. Number 3 on the list, rebooking. You guys have heard me talk about this before. I'm wildly passionate about rebooking. We're going to talk about it again, right here, right now. Rebooking customers is insanely, fundamentally, crazy important for retention. Because people who are not happy do not rebook. Comes back to happy customers. People who rebook are already coming back. And if the goal is a one-timer becomes a multiple-timer, if the goal is a first-timer becomes a repeat-timer, rebooking is a great test. Your rebooking percentage, and we talk about the idea that you should be offering rebooking to 100% of your customers. You should be offering rebooking to 100% of your customers, recognizing that they won't all rebook. The goal is 80. Offer rebooking to 100% of your customers in the hope that 80% of your customers will rebook. Not everybody's life fits rebooking. Not everybody's willing to rebook. That's okay. You got to do your job. Your job is to offer rebooking to 100% of your customers. Their job is to actually rebook. Rebooking will secure your future. There's no other skill you can develop in haircutting that will be more beneficial to your long-term financial success. Your ability to be a $100,000 hair cutter is tied to your ability to rebook. I promise you, if you are good at rebooking, this is very real. This is closer than you think. This is very possible and very doable. If you're not willing, or if you choose not to rebook, it's going to be very hard to get you to $100,000 hair cutter status. Very hard to get you to those levels of dollars. We've done classes in which we've showed you how to rebook. We've talked about how to rebook. Maybe we'll do another one of those next week if that's something that would be interesting, because I think it's something I always enjoy talking about. But rebooking. Number 4, consultation, take-home product, rebooking. Number 4 is referrals. And the program is about making a first-time client a repeat customer. But we're talking here about referrals, about asking and encouraging people to send their friends. Your rebook rate is probably one of the greatest measures of your customer service. You know, customer service is obscure. Customer service is ambiguous. Customer service is a feeling. Customer service is an intangible until you can measure it, until you can put a number on it, until you can check how you're doing. And are you doing better? And have you slipped? And are you improving? Because it's a number. Your customer service number, your measurement of your customer service, is both your rebook rate, how enthusiastically are people willing to make their next appointment before they leave the building? Because unhappy people will not rebook, but happy people will be in a hurry to rebook. Your rebook rate, and the other one is your referral rate. To know that you're doing well, check your referral rate. How many of your customers are sending more customers? How high is your first-time client referral traffic? Hey, you cut Mikey. Mikey told me to come in. My name's Ivan. That's a referral. People who are happy send their friends. People who are not happy do not send their friends. So rebooking and referrals are two statistics when you understand how to track and measure them. And we'll talk about that next week. We'll do a rebook and referral track and measure class. I'm going to add that in. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you right now. It's going to be Thursday. I'm putting it down right now. Rebook and referral is going to be Thursday next week at 10 o'clock. Those two statistics are really your bottom line customer service and customer satisfaction measurement statistics. If those numbers are good and those numbers are high, that is a very real reflection of how you're doing in retaining first-time customers and delivering a satisfactory experience. The last two are my follow-ups. We have consultation and take-home. Those are our first two. Those are really what we're involved in with the client in the moment. We have rebook and referral. Those are our track and measure elements of this project. And the last two we have are follow-up. Number 5 is sharing your social links. At the time that you're executing a haircut, at the time that you're spending with your customer, at the time that you're engaging with your customer, I encourage you to make sure they connect with your social platforms. I believe part of a consultation is asking people, where do you play on social media? Are you a tweeter? Are you a grammer? Are you a Facebooker? Ask people where they listen, because that's where you should talk. It does no good to talk somewhere no one is listening. I always use as an example, my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is a great client. My mother-in-law is a color client, and she's a haircut client, and she's a manicure pedicure client, and she's a perm client. She's a big client in salons. And if you're a tweeter, you can tweet all day long, 24/7, 365. My mother-in-law will never hear you because my mother-in-law is not on Twitter. She's got a Facebook. She reads the newspaper. She has places where she consumes information and listens. But she's not on Snapchat. She's not on Twitter. And I don't think she knows what TikTok is. So you need to talk to her and her friends where they are listening. So ask somebody, what is your preferred social media channel? And where do you connect? I think it's important to know that. And then make sure they connect with you there. If Mrs. Smith says, yeah, I'm all over Twitter, follow me. My Twitter handle is @IvanZoot. Tell them what it is, even if you have to. Have them look it up on the phone right then and there and link to it. Oh, I love Instagram. Great. Follow me on Instagram. That's my Instagram. I really don't use social media, but I do mostly email and text. Great. Let me get your phone number and get your phone. Click, click, click. Get them in your phone. Let me get your email. Click, click, click. Get them in your email. Let me send you an email so you have one from me. And send them a quick email. Connecting through social channels is going to be very important for you to grow your business. And it's important that you're connecting in the channels that make sense. Don't keep your social a secret. By the way, part of this conversation should, of course, be separating your social, making sure that your professional social media is professional and your personal is personal. Just taking a note. So that you can keep those channels clean, so that they're focused on the business at hand as you need to do that. Just makes sense to be doing that kind of stuff. So that's social. And the other one of the two, 5 and 6, which are follow-up. 6 is follow-up. Are you following up with people? After they've been with you in the chair, after they've had a haircut, after they've gone home, after they've left the shop. Sure, you did a good consultation. Sure, you sent them home with take-home product. Hopefully they rebooked. Maybe they'll send a friend. You did all those things. You made sure they left with a couple of cards. We're getting it right. And they know where to find you on social media. Follow up. My favorite form of follow-up is real, old-fashioned, old school, I'm not kidding, paper thank you notes. Handwritten on paper, in an envelope, addressed and mailed. Thank you notes. Keep them simple. First-time clients, somebody who sends a referral, somebody who gets a significant haircut. Their daughter's getting married. They've got a graduation coming up. They're going on a job interview. Those are all special things. Acknowledge them. Dear Mrs. Smith, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to cut your hair for your daughter's wedding. I hope you have a wonderful day. Love, Ivan. That's it. It doesn't have to be trickier. It doesn't have to be fancier. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. It can be just that simple. But follow up. There's a hierarchy here. I think handwritten thank you notes are the most special. I think texting is probably the least. And in between paper thank you notes and sending a text is voicemail messages, email messages, connecting through a DM on social. All those, there's a range here. You need to figure out what fits you. You need to figure out what fits your customers, what feels right and what is appropriate, and what they respond to, but you need to follow up. If the first time you come in as a haircut is your first contact, and if there's no other contact again after that, what are the odds that a first-time client will become a second-time client? They're kind of low. They're not that great. There's not a good chance of it. So follow-up becomes extremely important for our long-term success with first-time clients. Now, we covered 6. Consultation, suggesting take-home and selling take-home, rebooking and referrals, connecting on social, and following up. They fit into 3 nice categories, 2, 2, and 2. I do also want to talk about, we got into this in our live meeting last night. Now remember, Wednesday night is the live meeting. We talked about exactly this in our live meeting on Wednesday night. There's an audio post coming on Friday. There was a text post on Tuesday, and the video went live today. And that's how we work with the topic of the week every week. The link to Patreon is here in the comments on this post. I encourage you to go there and find out what my Patreon page is all about. I'm there to help you become a $100,000 hair cutter. One of the things that came up in our discussion last night was the 3 haircut concept. And this idea goes way, way back, all the way back to one of my original mentors in the business. When I first got into the business, I met a guy who taught men's hair cutting and clipper cutting, a guy by the name of Jim Jones. He was out of Lansing, Michigan, and he was the clipper cutting educator. This guy was the man. Michael asked the question, how do you get a new client's address to send them thank you notes? You ask them for their address. Michael, can I have your address? It's just that simple. You ask. Now, I use an electronic phone-based client data capture program. It's called iCapture, where they can type all that information in and boom, I have it. That's what I use. You can use a pencil and a piece of paper. And don't be afraid of the conversation. Hey, Michael, can I have your name and your mailing address? Why do you want my name and my mailing address? Because I want to send you something in the mail. Really? What do you want to send me in the mail? I want to send you a thank you note. Boom. Hit them right between the eyes. No one's going to say no. If someone says no, you're not sending them a thank you note. They just told you they would rather have you communicate with them through a different channel. But most people, I would guess, if you ask for their address, they'll probably just give it to you anyways. If you tell them why you want it, they'll probably give you that. Yeah, I would get their email address as well, but emails are not as personal. Emails are not the same as a real paper thank you note. And what I want to make a point about here is you write these out in the shop at the end of the day. You write them out on paper. You address them. You stamp them. You keep your thank you notes in a box of 100 of these at the big box store is cheap. At the discount office supply store, a box of 100 of these is cheap. A roll of stamps are cheap. And a pen, you have one. Keep them in the shop. Keep them in your station. At the end of the day, you write out your thank, and you do them during the day, in between, downtime, whatever. Lick them, stick them. In the car on the way home, at the end of the day, you stop at the post office. And you drop these in the drive-thru. And I want you to think of the post office as a deposit. When you go to the post office, you deposit your thank you notes in the mailbox. Think of it as a deposit. Because if you think of it that way, what will happen is, the more often you make a deposit at the post office, the more often you will make a deposit at the bank. See the connection there? The post office and the bank, in your mind, become one and the same. And the personal nature of these can't be beat. So I was telling you about Jim Jones. Jim Jones out of East Lansing, Michigan, was the ultimate men's haircut and clipper cutting educator in the 1980s. This is the guy I learned from. In the 1990s. This is the guy that taught me how to clipper cut. And this is the guy that taught me how to share clipper cutting with other people. So he's a great mentor of mine. And Jim used to talk about first-time clients. Jim used to talk about the first-time client opportunity. And one of the things that Jim used to say when he talked about first-time clients was he would enter into what he called a contract, an agreement with a first-time client. And he called it a contract. He used the word agreement. And he would even emphasize shaking hands with the customer over this. Now, coronavirus, we do the elbow tap. We do the elbow tap. We're not shaking hands. We're going to do the elbow tap. But what Jim would tell a first-time client, and I have told this to first-time clients, you got to give me 3 haircuts. You got to come to me 3 times. You got to give me 3 chances. Because the first time you're a brand new client, I don't know you, you don't know me, I don't know your hair, I'm an experienced professional, and there's a pretty good chance that the first time, I'm going to nail it. I'm going to get it right. You're going to be happy. There's a very good chance of that. But maybe it's not going to happen. But if you come back to me a second time, I'm going to ask you, how'd you like the haircut? I'm going to ask you what was good, what was bad, were you happy? What would be different? What could we change? How can we tweak? And I promise you, the second haircut's going to be better. The first one was probably really good. Many times on a second haircut, a guy's going to be like, no, it was great. Just do it again. Same as last time. The barber business is built on same as last time. What are we going to do for you today? Same as last time. Thumbs up. That's not a bad thing. But if it wasn't perfect the first time, it's going to be really close to perfect the second time. And then it's that third time that's magical. Give me 3. Let me cut your hair 3 times. It'll take an opportunity for me to learn a little bit about you, learn a little bit about your hair, and make sure that you can be a very, very satisfied customer. And I've heard Jim say, if I cut your hair 3 times and you're still not happy, I probably shouldn't be cutting your hair. There's something going on there. We may not be a good fit. And hey, there's 328 million people in America. Can you be a good fit for all of them? You can try, but it's possible you won't be perfect for everybody. But the 3-time haircut, and by the way, one of the industry statistics that we're working with here, one of the industry ideas that we're leveraging here is the understanding that if somebody comes to you 3 times, they've developed a habit. They've developed a connection. They are your client. 3 times the charm. You've heard the expression. The 3rd time really locks them in. Because if it was okay the first time and you nailed it the 2nd time, the 3rd time they're coming back because you rocked it. If it wasn't so great the first time and it was better the 2nd time you showed improvement, they're going to give you that 3rd chance. You're going to nail it. So that 3-time trick can be a very, very powerful way to secure a 1-time client as a long-term client. So these are my tips and tricks for making the most of first-time clients. Right now, with the coronavirus situation, with people getting back to work and shops opening up and people getting back to their haircutters and some haircutters not coming back, there's opportunity here. There's opportunity here to build and grow. There's opportunity here for first-time clients. And I want you to make the most of every one of these first-time client opportunities. I want you to truly be a $100,000 haircutter. That's not a hope and a wish and a dream. That's a stepping stone on the way to bigger numbers for many, many people. And that is very accessible in the United States of America, in the professional beauty and barber industry, for anyone who would like to see that happen, for anyone who would like to achieve that number. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the program. How to make the most of a first-time client. Consultation, take-home product, rebooking and referrals, and social and follow-up. And 3 times the charm. Those are my tips and tricks. Visit me online at Patreon. Join us every week for our monthly or for our weekly focus topic. We're working on next week's schedule. We're building it out. We're filling it up. Looks like it's going to be a good, busy week. I hope you're doing well. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 and 11. Tomorrow, Friday, 9 o'clock, condensed cutting. 11 o'clock, tracking and statistics. Thanks for being here. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take good care of those first-time clients.